Hello, friends. Today, you are enough. And I want you to check in real quick and see what that just did with you. Did you just do a yeah, but because you're not feeling like you're enough? These people told you you're not enough? You don't feel like you're enough for God? Okay. So, if that's the case, stick with me because today we're going to be talking all about the fact that you are enough and how it comes to be that you feel like you're not enough and what to do. One simple step daily to start that process of shifting that conversation into, you know what? I am enough. Hi, I'm Ann Ferguson, and this is a daily walk and talk that I do every weekday morning. I want to really dive deep into you are not enough. How many of you, hands up, have felt this? I think it's universal. You are not enough. Do you know that it is one of the first temptations that Christ experienced? If you are this, if you're enough, God will rescue you. Angels we've sent to help and support you. So go, do it. Yeah. So you are not enough is a big deal. I want to talk for just a minute about where that comes from. You see, many of us are raised by parents, society, really. It's not just parents. Not just parents, it's society. Who got their validation about whether or not they were enough based on whether you were doing what they thought was correct and right and morally straight. So if you were performing according to what they felt was right, good, everything, then they were valid. No, they're valid, but they were enough, meaning they had achieved their stewardship. They had been a good servant. Welcome. You did a good job. Your kids are your evidence. Anybody else have themselves be the evidence of whether or not? Yeah, that's one way that it shows up. Another way it shows up is with people who really, really, really want to know that they're enough. And your love and your doting and your connection to them and your desire to always be there for them validates the fact that they are enough. So what happens if, I don't know, you're like human and there's some times where you just plain are not enough because something else is going on inside of you. You don't have anything left to give. That means to them that they are not enough. So they get really mad at you. And they tell you all the reasons why you have failed and all the reasons why it looks bad and wrong and how if you were just, then they could be. If you were just this way, they wouldn't have to be upset. If you were just this way, they wouldn't have to be frustrated. They could be happy. If you would just stop. Okay, that means you're not enough because it's about what you're doing as to whether or not, they are okay and happy. So we're going to bust out a lie here. Are you ready? We're going to go into the father of lies. Yeah, that big old bully. His job is to thwart the voice of the Spirit who's telling you how loved you are. See, if you believe you're loved, then you have all sorts of feelings, and those feelings generate all sorts of actions. So the voice that's telling you you're okay, I'm right here, you're safe, I've got you, don't worry. Here's what you need to do, and if you don't do it right, it's okay. I got you still. That voice is being drowned out. Drowned out. I was the kid who did all the right things. You and me both. Because for two reasons for me. If I did all the right things, then I could make my parents pleased. I wasn't the burden. My parents were always burdened. And so if I ever did anything that wasn't quite right, then I was not enough because their burden showed me that I was not enough, right? Where's your not enough show up? Not loving enough, not kind enough, not smart enough, not emotionally stable enough, not thin enough, not like, where's the not enough showing up for you? Right? Yeah. Rarely felt like you were enough. I know why? Because perfection is at the end of your life. So you've always got to be striving for it. And you are not enough unless you're perfect. Let's be real. Okay. That's a big hot mess right there. It's not true. Let's bust the lie. Two opposing forces, because there's opposite in all things. There is only one God. He is intimately invested in your happiness and your good and your success and all of the feelings. He just is love. He just wants us to feel loved, right? So he's responsible for all that. And then there's this bully opposition in all things. And he's the only enemy. He is the only enemy. So here's the lie. Ready? You are not enough. That's the truth. I'm going to say that again. You are not enough is the truth. The lie is that you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be. Okay. So let's really talk about not enough for a minute. I am not enough. And I'm not supposed to be. That was a freaking game changer for me. Okay, this is where it showed up in my relationships. I believed in the fairy tale. I was the princess who had been treated unfairly and bad because I was perfect or tried to be, and my family was not. And so, handsome prince needed to come and rescue me. And then, it was just my beauty that was supposed to be enough for him. And his love for me just fed all of the things that he would do for me to make happily ever after be true. And guess what? Prince Charming wasn't enough for me. Why? Because I'm human. And so when things were a little rough and it wasn't exactly what I expected, or he would have a really bad day and he wouldn't try to help me. What? Handsome prince? What's going on right now? Isn't my beauty not enough for you to feel all of the manly, whatever you feel when you're rescuing somebody? Is that enough? It wasn't enough. So he turned into, all right, I am the handsome prince. You admire and respect me because I have rescued you. And that is enough for you to be happy for the rest of your life. So, yeah, that didn't work. Okay, so the reality is, I am never enough for my husband. Guess what? Secret. My husband is never enough for me. And we're not supposed to be. Why? Because there's only one source of enoughness. God is the only one who gives you are enough. Not just that he gives it to you, but he is the only one. So this is what happens. Sometimes I am in need of some emotional support. Emotional support. And my husband is in need of emotional support. What the heck? He doesn't have all the whatever he needs in him to feed me so that I feel good about myself? What the heck? Okay, what the heck is, oh, so you're having a rough day too? Well, it doesn't mean that I don't deserve to feel loved and supported and taken care of. I'm going to go to my daddy, God. It's not that you failed me. You're just being human. I have a daddy God. He loves me. See, I'm his precious daughter. Like, he really, really likes me. So he and I are going to have some conversation. And I'm going to get filled up by his love. And how much of it, I might actually end up having enough for you too. Like, I might have enough so that I can give you some of what daddy's love is. That would be a good idea. You know, there are times where I am just not going to be enough, whether that's emotionally or even physically. Maybe I'm so freaking tired with a headache and I've done and served and served and served and served. And then there's some physical needs that my husband has, and I am not doing okay. Guess what? I am not enough. Not enough. Now, God can't necessarily support those physical needs, but he can support the reason why those physical needs are necessary. Because it's the same thing as emotional needs for a woman. It's just connection. It's intimate connection. And so you can go to Daddy God or your father or your dad or whatever that is for men. You can go to him and say, hey, I need you to fill me up with more than I have right now. I feel like I'm going to explode. Will you show up for me and give me all of that fire and that power and that mental stuff that I need to show up for her? I need you to fill me up. And even if I can't show up for her, I just need you to let me not blame her for not showing up for me. How cool is that, guys? When two people, let's go like this, two people are going towards the same thing, like God, they naturally become closer. Did you know that? But it's not your job to tell your husband or your wife they need to get towards God. It's just yours. Because you can be filled up by him. And then he can tell you what to do about the situation that you've got with your spouse. I know this by absolute 100% experience. He tells me when I need to say something. He tells me when I need to shut my dang freaking mouth. He tells me when I need to see and approve what is in front of me, even though that there are things that are lacking. And just speak that. Because guess what? He is enough for me. Because God will make up the difference. Oh, what? Have we ever heard that before? God will make up the difference? Yep. Guess what? After all I can do to be loving and supporting, God's going to make up the difference. And not when I'm down on my knees and I'm dying. Nope. I'll say, okay, God, look, I'm going to rally the troops. I'm going to emotionally take a deep breath and see what he needs. And I need you to make up the difference and help him feel loved because I don't have a lot left in me right now. My reserves are down. It's kind of like a video game, you know, when you've been out beating the boss, you know, the big bully, and you've been pounding him and you're really, really depleted. It's like you need, your power bars are down. You need something that's going to give you and feed you. That's God's love. That's God's whatever you need. He's the one that fills up the power so that you can go forward. All right, but we need to talk about something else, and that is how do you receive his love? Because if you've been conditioned that you can only receive it when your life is good because that's evidence of everything going right for you, it's evidence of you being perfect, it's evidence of you being a good daughter. Oh gosh, good daughter, good son. Let's talk about that for a minute. I remember good little boy and good little girl candy. And you know what that meant? I got good little girl candy when I didn't raise a fuss about anything. I was so good at having feelings and not being aware of them at all. And I could just put on the face and just be kind and pleasant. And I could just ignore anything that upset me and not ever speak about it. I was such a good girl. You were such a good boy. You did all the things and are achieving stuff and are, for men, it's so much doing, right? Your accomplishments, you are good if this and this and this, if you show up this way. I'm so sorry, Ben. So we don't accept God's love because we haven't earned it yet. I haven't earned my allowance. I haven't done all my chores. I did not read my scriptures today, say my prayers. I didn't bake a casserole. I didn't babysit the neighbor's child. I didn't teach somebody about you. I didn't keep my house in order and clean. So I'm not enough. I'm not enough. You just hold on, God. Don't give me your love because I'm just not enough. Let's just sit with that for a minute. How many things this morning have you done I'm not enough about? Now, I don't want guilt and shame to show up here at all. The truth is, we've been conditioned to be not enough for God. He says, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Just come on. He says, my arms are outstretched still. Belief is this adopting as true. So let's just start there. Let's adopt as true the fact that no matter what situation you are in right now, no matter how you are showing up, you are enough to be loved by God. Because it turns out He is not. God is not a human parent. God is not fallible. The celestial being that He is, guess what? He doesn't need you to validate that He is a good God. There is nothing about your behavior that validates or invalidates His godhood. He doesn't need you in that way. Our parents did. Our parents needed evidence. God doesn't need any evidence. So we can actually receive the truth that you are enough to be loved on by God right now in this moment. Now, the other problem we've got is the way that parents show love, we interpret as love. And there's always a string, right? If you do this, I will give you that. If you do this, you can come and snuggle with me. If you do that, it's always about this unconditional thing. And so we believe that we've got to do this in order to be free enough to be loved. Well, no. A celestial God, a celestial being has no lack. He doesn't need anything from you in order to be able to give all the love. It's going to look different than you've ever seen before. Why? Because most of us were raised on conditional love. So what our minds interpret as love, if it doesn't show up that way, we're like, oh, I'm not loved. I'm not loved. He doesn't love me because He's not showing up the way that I know that you're supposed to show up. God doesn't do it that way. God shows up in pure love. Oh my gosh. The pure love of God. Now, if you don't know what that is, you think you know, but you don't know. You're going, maybe I haven't ever experienced it. If that's running through your head right now, guess what? It's so easy. You say, hey, God, I'm no good at receiving your love. I am coming to this awareness that I may not actually know what love is. I know what I think it is. I know what I've been told it is. But maybe I don't know. What does love feel like from you? What does it look like when you're loving me? So we're going to jump into the whole parent thing when they punish you and they say, this is because I love you. Okay, that is not God. That is not God. The way He talks to you, the way He corrects you is not the way your parents did. Punishment is not love. And He's not punishing you. God, I don't even know what love is if it's not got some form of punishment attached. Like, I deserve to be punished because I haven't done it right. And I know you're just loving me when you punish me. Oh, wait, what? That's a human way of expressing? And that's not you? And that's humans trying to say that they're like you, but they're not because they're not celestial? Will you teach me, please, how to love myself as much as you love me? Will you teach me what pure love feels like and is? Okay, he's going to say yes. He is going to say yes. He's been waiting for this your whole life. See, he will let you experience what love isn't long enough for you to realize that it isn't love. And then once you realize that it isn't actually love, you can say with curiosity, not with victim, please teach me what it feels like to be loved by you. Nope, no victim. Curiosity. Hey, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to give up all the misperception that I have. Oh, what? All my sins to know you, because the root of sin is misperception. The Bible dictionary says that repentance is a change of mind. I am willing to give up all my misperceptions about you so that I can know who you are. There is a scripture about that, right? Give all my sins away to know thee. All of my misperceptions, all of my thoughts about who I think you are, I'm willing to give all those up so I can know you. Because you know what? I'm kind of tired. I'm just really tired of feeling not enough. I'm tired of listening to the voices that are in my head, the voices of other people that don't know that you're enough for them. Like you're enough for us all. Can you imagine how you would actually act if you believed you were enough for God? Or really received that He is enough for you? Like really received. All the receiving. He is enough for you. So we're going to do a little practice this week. So what we're going to do. Are you ready? You are enough moment. What is your you are enough moment? Every day. There's a couple of ways to do this. So, you are enough moment looks like this. Every day. You're going to say to yourself once a day, what do I need? What in this moment right now do I need? And then you're going to go and do that for yourself. I know it sounds kind of backwards, right? Because God's supposed to do things for you, but I want you to hear me out here. You are going to go and do something for you. Because you cannot receive what you're not willing to receive from yourself. So if you are not willing to receive the fact that you deserve to be seen, to be treated well, to be given things, and you don't give to yourself because you're waiting for everybody else to prove that you're worth it, it's never going to happen. So you are enough moment. It's part of joy. We do this joy power calendar in the Igniting Your Belief program. We breathe in some joy, we get our happy on. We do one drop at a time, which is moving something forward. That's a project. And then we do the you are enough moment. Now, if you are enough says, get a drink of water, go get a drink of water. If you are enough says, for me, it was ask for some help. I actually set this one up instead of asking myself every day, what do I need? Because I'm really, really independent and I'm super good at that part. But I didn't believe in being enough for people to help me. So because I had that whole perfection equals don't be a burden kind of misperception. And so in my repentance process of that misperception, that if I'm not a burden, I am therefore righteous, I actually every single day decided to receive help. And that was so hard because I was so independent. So I wrote a thing and said, every day, am going to ask my son to do something that I can do for myself without guilt. I'm going to ask him without feeling bad or guilty. So, hey, son, as I'm standing next to the dishwasher, can you come out empty this dishwasher? Now, for some of you, that may not be a big deal, but I grew up alone in a household of people, and I took care of myself because there was so much crap going on that nobody knew what was going on. And I had a value of not being a burden. And so I just did things myself. I still do. I do a lot of things myself. And so I am enough to receive help. I decided to ask for it. It was the hardest thing. But it's what God told me to do so that I could feel like I was enough. And I wanted to feel like I was enough. So I did it. So if you feel like you are not enough, 2 steps. Number 1, God, teach me. Teach me. What does it feel like when you're loving me? And 2, teach me to love myself as much as you love me. Because if I can love myself, I don't need anybody else in the right way. If it's you and me, then I become more like you. Because you don't need me to tell you that you're okay. I want to know how to do that. How do I? Oh, it's by being enough. If I'm enough and I have no lack, then I'm not needing to make anybody else feel that need, and I am free to love and be loved. Do you want to do that? To love and be loved? That's how you do it. Love and be loved. In other words, ready? I love the word beloved. It's just be loved. He is the one who's willing to be loved in every form of love that I can give him as his father. He is the beloved. That's pretty cool, right? You want to be loved? Ask for it. Don't demand, don't think you know what it looks like. Just go, teach me, I'm ready. That's it, my friends. I appreciate you. Share this, will you? If this matters, if you know somebody who doesn't feel like they're enough and you feel like this would do something for them, will you please share? Because guess what? Belief that you are enough, it matters. Belief matters. When you believe you're enough, you feel differently. When you feel differently, you act differently. Let's do it, guys. Let's just be enough today. I'll see ya.